why is it important for you to be able to communicate?
So, W, H, E, when, my, P, A, with my parents, in, H, E, heaven, when your parents are in heaven, I can, C, O, communicate.
It started with a couple of people wanting to help one individual. We had no idea we were ever going to be around 40 years from when we started. It started out with an article written by Gene Judge in the Fall River Herald called Linda's Window on the World, and how Linda, a person with cerebral palsy, communicated only by moving her eyes. Her mother took a plexiglass board, painted letters of the alphabet on it. Linda would gaze at a letter. For example, if Linda wanted to say hello, Linda would gaze at the letter H. Her mother would move the board until they were both looking into each other's eyes and through the letter H and speak the letter H. Then Linda would go on to the next letter, E, L, L, O. And that was the only way Linda communicated at the time. A colleague of mine who has since passed away, Les Corey, read that article and thought, gee, we could probably do something to help her. I at that time had just graduated from UMass Dartmouth. I was working there for the summertime and prior to going to graduate school, and Les left me a note on the blackboard. Boy, have I got a project for you, Phil. Give me a call.
I was in labor like for 2 days. The doctor told me she has cerebral palsy. He told me right away. And he said, it's better that you do not see her. He said, because she'll never walk, she'll never talk, she'll never do anything for herself. She has cerebral palsy. I had never heard of cerebral palsy. She's fine. I said, I want to take her home and do the best I can to take care of her. She knows what's going on. So I started teaching her like the alphabet. I made little flashcards, A, B, and C, and I would tell her, when I pick up the letter A, you let me know. So I would pick up like the EC or whatever first, no response from her. And as soon as I picked up the A, she would let me know. And even when she went to school, they accepted her in special class in Fall River. And even the teacher knew that she had it all. How are we going to get it out? I put the board in front of her, and she's going, and I'm like, I don't know what I started writing down what she's looking at, and she's spelling, and I'm like, wait a minute here. Look, she's talking away. And it's been from then on.
The catch with the iBoard is someone had to be in the room with her, and if that person didn't want Linda to talk, then Linda didn't say anything. There's a thing called nerd sniping, where solving a problem just for the sake of solving a problem, but this has never been done before. And at that point, it became so much more important to make something work, because it turns out Linda is probably above average intelligence, but for the first 24 years of her life, that was basically locked inside a body, and it was very difficult to get out. I would leave work at 4 o'clock, we'd go to Les's house, and I'd spend 8 hours there till midnight, sometimes 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. That summer on his kitchen table, we built a computer system that emulated Linda's iBoard. Les happened to be on sabbatical doing speech recognition work for the Navy. And mistakenly, he got a call from a manufacturer of a Votrex speech synthesizer, which was the first of anything that was even remotely affordable. And the person said, would you like to evaluate this? And Les was like, yep, I certainly would. So it's trial and error and soldering irons, and eventually we got the thing to speak one letter. It said A. It's like, yes, high five.
But do I miss you?
We gave her the speech synthesizer on the eve of her mother's birthday. And Linda was adamant we had to stay there till midnight. It's like, why? And she had a message made up. She had done that all on her own without her mother's knowledge. And that was the first time her mother ever heard her speak. Happy birthday, Mom. Love, Linda. There was not a dry eye in the house that night.
If Les hadn't made that call that day, no, I was probably just going to keep her home and just do the best I could. She wanted to get her GED. And I'm like, Linda, I don't know. All right, we'll try. So I got in touch with special education, and I brought her in the special class down there. Then he called me back and he said, don't bring her back. The teacher was uncomfortable with her. I had to tell her that. And I said, Linda, don't worry about it because it's okay if you don't. And then I started thinking, I'm like, no, she wants it. After that, she did go to school, a special ed class down in Middletown, and she did get her GED.
Me. Questions. Do you want to ask me questions?
The project was done. I went off to graduate school. Les went back to teaching. And then I got a call from Les. Somebody else wants us to do the same thing. And I'm like, you don't need me. Just duplicate the discs and send it out. And he's, well, it's a different problem. Long distance and during weekends, I was at his house a lot. And we built another system. It turned out the second person had much more difficulty seeing than Linda did, so the computer screen needed to be bigger, and it was back to square one. And I think by that time it was summertime and we did the same thing. I decided to transfer back to UMass just because I thought something amazing was happening. And we decided we needed some sort of an umbrella to work under. So after a lot of talking, we formed the SHARE Foundation. SHARE is an acronym for Society for Human Advancement through Rehabilitation Engineering. I believe the number today is 3,954. It is our hope within the next year to hit client number 4,000. Being an engineer, building anything is a challenge. But building something and you see the end result of it and you see how a person's life is literally transformed, that's just an amazing feeling. And that's why I'm still doing this many years later.
Oh my God. I mean, she felt so much better now. She was able to and all day she's talking with me. She could also stop what she's doing to ask me a question. She'll tell me she's tired.
I'm glad to meet you.
She started doing writing letters, doing cards, and she's still doing it now. I know, I worry. I mean, I'm going to be 89, he's 95. So, I mean, God has given us many, many years with him, but I don't want him to end. Yeah, well, I think it's important that she's able to say anything that she's thinking about, she'll be able to express herself.
We all need some kind of help. Some people need help to tie their shoe. Some people need help just to chew. Some people need help to scratch their back, others to hold a baby on their lap. But the best help that you can find comes from a big heart and a fantastic mind.